Why did this have to happen to her? Why did this have to happen to Samantha, to Aric, Ben, Brogan? Why did Jaime decide to drink and drive? As a parent myself, I could not imagine telling my child that took a life of someone else that bad things happen to good people. I don't know if she was just raised in a house that she could just whine and get away with everything, but that doesn't fly here. Hello, my name is Crystal. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. I hope you're having a great day. I just want to first thank everyone who watched my last video, who liked, commented, and subscribed. I was blown away. I think we have to come up with a new goal, maybe 500. Not sure when the deadline would be. Maybe you can let me know down below in the comments. But please do remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get into today's case. Today is a tragic story, as are most that we cover on this channel. Today we'll be discussing the death of Samantha Miller. When I was researching this case, I cried a lot, and that's because this death was completely avoidable. One person's dumb decisions snowballed into this tragedy. Samantha Miller, soon to be Hutchinson, and Aric Hutchinson were madly in love. They were engaged and excited for their big day. Their family and friends all surrounded them on April 28th, 2023. And this is where they tied the knot in a beautiful ceremony and exchanged heartfelt vows. Their wedding took place in Folly Beach, South Carolina. Samantha looked absolutely beautiful in her dress. She was truly an inspiration. She was beautiful inside and out. People describe her as being a light, someone who was always so thoughtful and caring. After the ceremony, they had the reception, and that reception was filled with lots of love and laughter. They ate, they drank, they danced the night away. No one wanted to leave the reception, but unfortunately, it had to come to an end. The guests formed a path, and they all held up sparklers for Samantha and Aric's exit. When they got to the end, the newlyweds shared one more kiss before getting into their chariot, and their chariot was an LSV, which essentially is an upgraded golf cart from my understanding. Samantha and Aric were in the back of the LSV. That way they can wave goodbye to their guests as they drive away. So Aric and Samantha were in the back, and Aric's brother-in-law, Ben, as well as his 17-year-old nephew, Brogan, sat in the front seat. And as a last celebration for their big day, the LSV had a just married sign with cans dangling as they drove off. This beautiful day filled with celebration and so much love was ruined by Jamie Lee Komoroski. Jaime was driving 65 miles per hour in a 25-mile-per-hour zone. Guess where she came from? A bar. Multiple bars, actually. That night, she decided to go drinking, go bar hopping, and then get into her car and drive home. Jamie's blood alcohol level was nearly 3 times over the limit. This tragedy was completely avoidable. Do not drink and drive. The amount of deaths, the amount of car accidents from drinking and driving should be a wake up call to stop doing it. These drivers always think, oh, it won't happen to me. But guess what? It does. And normally, they're not the ones that get injured. They end up killing someone else. And in today's day and age, there's no excuse to drink and drive. There's Uber, there's Lyft, there's taxis, there's your legs. Call a friend, call a parent. I don't care, just don't drive your car drunk. But because of Jamie's stupid, reckless decisions, she changed the lives of so many people that night. While driving drunk and speeding, Jaime hit the LSV that was carrying Samantha, Aric, Ben, and Brogan. A speeding car can do a lot of damage, and that damage is catastrophic on this LSV golf cart. When Jaime hit the LSV, it sent everyone flying nearly 100 yards. That's around the size of a football field. The LSV was completely destroyed. It was crushed. It was just a bunch of metal. The nearby residents heard the sound of the impact and they came running out. What they discovered was a scene out of a horror movie. They saw Samantha, Aric, Ben, and Brogan's bodies in various places. The first resident to assist on the scene went and checked Aric. She was closest to him. By looking at him, she couldn't tell if he was alive. His injuries were very severe. His face was badly damaged, but luckily she was able to find a pulse. She then went to check Ben, and he had severe road rash and lacerations, but she was able to find a pulse. 17-year-old Brogan only sustained minor injuries. He was able to stand up, he was able to walk. Of course, he's unsteady. He probably had a concussion, but fortunately, he didn't have severe injuries. That brings us to Samantha. 34-year-old Samantha, who was still in her wedding gown, who just hours ago said I do, sadly, tragically, died on impact. And because she passed away on impact, they actually left her at the crime scene. So everyone else was transported to the hospital. They were admitted under John Doe's because they didn't have identification on them. Brogan's mom, who is Ben's wife, went to get Mandy and Lisa, which is Samantha's mother and sister. And that's when they drove to the scene. Mandy and Lisa did say that they saw the police lights and they heard the sirens from their Airbnb, but this was the confirmation that it was Samantha and Aric in the accident. When they did arrive, police again said they're all at the hospital, so that's where they went. While they're waiting at the hospital, Lisa receives a call from her ex-husband, Samantha's father, and he told her that Samantha was still at the scene in the ambulance and that she didn't make it. When the police brought Samantha's dad to identify the body, they could only recognize her by her tattoos because her injuries were just so severe. This is a parent's worst nightmare. One, to have to identify your child, and then to make things worse, their injuries are so severe that they're just unrecognizable. And I'm sure that image lives with him. I can't imagine the sadness and the anger that they feel. When Aric and Samantha were on the back of the LSV, Samantha leaned in and whispered to Aric that she wished this night would never end. And those were her last words. And that's all Aric remembers hearing before waking up in the hospital. Aric had several broken bones in his face, in his back. He broke both of his legs. He had a severe brain injury and he had to have multiple reconstructive surgeries. Aric said when he woke up, he saw his mom and he could tell on her face that something was wrong. One of the first things he asked was, "Where's Sam?" And that's when his mother had to tell him that his wife, the love of his life, didn't make it. How could the best day of your life, the happiest day, turn into the worst day? Well, that's because of Jamie. I'm sure you're wondering where she is in all of this chaos. Before exiting her vehicle after the impact, she was confused. And get this, she had no injuries. And again, this is something that makes me so angry, is that these drunk drivers who make the stupid decisions end up walking away with no injuries. It's so frustrating. The residents reported that after Jamie did exit her vehicle, when she saw Samantha, Aric, Brogan, and Ben laying all over the ground, she started to cry, screaming, crying. And she kept shouting, "Who is that? Who is that?" When police were able to talk to Jamie, they wanted to figure out what happened, and immediately they could smell the alcohol on her breath. So at this point, they asked Jamie what happened. They want her side of the story. And she said that she was just driving when something hit her. Jamie admitted to consuming 2 alcoholic beverages, but said on a scale of 0 to 10 for drunkenness that she was an 8 out of 10. 10 being the most drunk you've ever been, and 0 or 1 being not drunk. Jamie refused a breathalyzer, she refused a field sobriety test, and she ended up asking for a lawyer and just not cooperating. And that's when she was arrested for refusing to take a breathalyzer. On the way to the jail, Jamie threatened to take her own life, so she had to be on watch to ensure that that didn't happen. The police were able to get a warrant to draw blood, and when they got the blood results back, her blood alcohol level was nearly 3 times over the legal limit. She was charged with 1 count of reckless homicide resulting in death, 3 counts of felony DUI resulting in great bodily injury or death. You'd think at this point Jamie's going to take accountability. She's going to realize the gravity of her actions. Well, she didn't. There's actually jailhouse calls with Jamie and her boyfriend and her dad. She clearly doesn't take any responsibility for her actions. And in fact, she expects sympathy for her. Even though she drove drunk, she killed Samantha and changed the lives for so many people. We're going to listen to some of those calls now. This first call is with Jamie and her father.
Well, I spoke with the lawyers today.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
How do you like them?
I like them.
They're top notch. They're hot to chop.
They seem really good.
At the same time, we can't be doing any better than what we're doing. We got the best team to help you. Right?
I still just don't know why this had to happen to me.
Because bad things happen to good people, honey. That's why. It's just fate. It's just something that happened to you, and we are going to deal with it the best we can. Okay? And it's life altering.
And what if they send me away for a really long time?
Well, we're trying to avoid that, aren't we? You know what they said about your attorneys, right?
What?
They said the family must be mafia to hire them to keep.
Perfect display of Jaime, the victim. To me, she is showing no remorse and no accountability. Why did this have to happen to her? Why did this have to happen to Samantha, to Aric, Ben, Brogan? Why did Jaime decide to drink and drive? As a parent myself, I could not imagine telling my child that took a life of someone else that bad things happen to good people. I don't know if she was just raised in a house that she could just whine and get away with everything, but that doesn't fly here. Imagine being Samantha's family and friends and having to listen to this. And Jaime doesn't want to go to jail for a long time, but that's what she deserves. I'm sure Samantha didn't want to die, and you took her life. You deserve to go to jail for a long time. And in my opinion, these calls amplify my decision even more. She's acting as if she ran like a red light or drove through a stop sign. She killed somebody. This whole situation was avoidable, but you did this. When her dad made the mafia comment and they smiled and laughed, the only thing that went through my mind is you're effing evil. Is it just me, or is her father enabling her behavior? I'm just so angry watching these calls. Let me know if you think I'm being too harsh. I'm just so worked up over this case. The next call is between Jaime and her boyfriend.
Deputy Sheriff, like the head person of Charleston County, I met with her today. And she's like trying to help me out.
That's good.
And she is like, you don't need, I don't want you in here, you should be with your family, blah, blah, blah. So that's, really good.
That is good. Yeah.
So then I can hopefully be home sooner. She's the head deputy, whatever. She was really nice, too. I think her name is Kirsten DeMontez or something. But, she's really nice, and I think she's going to help me. So I think things are looking up. Things are looking up. Something similar happened, I guess, to someone that she knew personally, and so she, related to the story, and, she, was just, really relating to me, and she just seemed really, sincere, and, she really wants to help, and, so I'm really happy. And, she also is the one that got my mom and dad able to, visit me, in person.
If that's true, and she receives special treatment, someone deserves to be fired. That looks real bad. This call in general looks really bad for the sheriff's office. And for that reason, they actually released the following statement. Our staff, whether a detention deputy or the sheriff, will always work to ensure our jail residents are properly and appropriately cared for while they're in our facility. This includes taking steps to ensure they do not harm themselves. Jamie Lee Komoroski is no exception. When family members reach out in concern for the well-being of their loved one, regardless of the charges against them, we do everything within our power to ensure they are safe. It is not unusual for accommodations to be made beyond our normal video visitation for family members, as long as there is an appropriate level of staffing to make it happen. Sheriff Graziano is in the agency's detention centers often, and it is also not unusual for her to visit jail residents. Komoroski is not an exception. And the sheriff met with her one time and had brief in-house contact with her a second time to introduce her to CCSO Mental Health Director William Malcolm, whose responsibility involves visiting detention center residents to ensure various needs are met. The sheriff does not have a special relationship with Komoroski's attorney. It is a professional relationship. What has been surmised by some from the Komoroski's video calls is not accurate in regard to any sort of special treatment. Some may think the situation is special, but it is not. Now, I'm curious what your opinion is. Do you think Jaime received special treatment? Let me know down below. We're going to get into the bond hearing. And Jaime was initially denied bond, but the judge stated that if a trial was not set by March, that she would be released on $150,000 bond. The prosecution advised that that's not a realistic time frame for a trial. So come March, 10 months after Jaime's arrest, she was released on bond. She had to wear an ankle monitor and was on house arrest. She could only leave for medical emergencies or for the courts. Her parents said that they would take responsibility of her while she was released on bond. Her attorneys made this statement: "We have consistently asserted that Jaime is not a flight risk or danger to the community, and she now looks forward to demonstrating her continued commitment to rehabilitation upon her pre-trial release from detention." Jaime ended up pleading guilty to reckless homicide, felony DUI causing death, and 2 counts of felony DUI causing great bodily injury. Before we get into the sentencing, I thought that we should listen to some victim impact statements. I'm probably going to be crying, and I apologize. I've been crying throughout the whole video. I've been pausing and wiping my tears, and I'm like, hopefully my eyes aren't too red, but it's an emotional story. And the first impact statement that we're going to hear is from Lisa Miller, Samantha's mom.
First of all, for the last 20 years, my career has been a substance abuse counselor. So I wanted to bring that factor to the court. I have dealt with many different populations, offenders. I did a program for offenders. I've dealt with military people, adolescent programs. So I've kind of ran all gamut. The one thing that all these groups and all these populations have in common is the word enabling. And enabling happens when, does everybody know what that means? Enabling happens when, it could be family members, it could be friends, it could be their children, maybe the adult is the one that's alcohol. They help them because they don't want them to get in trouble. They don't want them to have a bad life. By them helping them, they're really doing them a dishonor. And the only way that somebody that's having alcohol or drug issues and addiction can get better is to suffer the natural consequences of their behaviors.
Lisa bringing up how family members can enable drug addicts, which I believe her parents are very much enabling her. They don't hold her accountable. They just tell her everything's okay, everything's gonna be okay, when it's not. And I understand parents wanting to protect their child, but she took a life and she needs to take responsibility. I'm not saying her parents can't stand beside her as she takes accountability, but telling her that bad things happen to good people, she's not learning from her mistakes. We're going to continue listening to Lisa's impact statement.
Sam was light. She was love. And she was amazing. And always will be. I'm going to insert one more thing that I forgot when we were talking about the wedding. She was kind enough to do her daddy-daughter dance with both of her dads. And nice enough to include both of them. And then afterwards, we're all standing there ready for the next thing to happen. And the DJ announces special dance for the most special person in Sam's, most important person in Sam's life. And it was me. And she played our song and that's the last time I hugged my kid. It was on that dance floor. It was the most beautiful thing a child could do for their mom. And that's just unexplained, our relationship. As a mom, I can't even describe to you. I've lost my brother. I lost both my dads. This is so different. And it is scientifically proven that some kids' cells stay in your body. She died. We died. She doesn't get to come back to life in 10 years or 20 years. This is a lifetime.
I can't even imagine giving your daughter a hug dancing to your song, and that be the last time that you embrace her. Parents should never have to bury their children. This is just such a devastating case. Next, we're going to hear from Samantha's biological father.
This person, you took such a beautiful person away. She was loved by so many. I didn't realize how many people over the past year and a half I've heard from people that actually hate you. And they love Sam, they never met Sam, don't even know Sam. For the rest of my life, I'm gonna hate you. And when I arrive in hell and you come there, I'll open the door for you. You have ruined so many people's lives. And I hope you understand what you did, because you've taken no responsibility for what you've done. You can apologize all you want later. I will not listen to a word.
He will be there to open the doors of hell for Jaime. And he brings up a great point. She hasn't taken any responsibility. We keep saying it throughout this whole video. No accountability, no remorse, no responsibility. And he called her out because we all know that when she gets up to talk, when it's her turn, she's going to keep saying, I'm sorry. Is this apology going to be genuine? Now, the last impact statement that we're going to listen to today is from Aric, Samantha's husband.
Physically, I'm in pain every day. My face hurts, my back hurts, feet hurt. It's a struggle to get through every day. I've seen more doctors than I can count. I've seen more therapists. More psychiatrists, done more procedures than I ever care to do. And I still feel I'm at the same point as when I found out that day. My world will be ever changed what happened that night. I think about that night every single day. In the last moments I had with Sam on the golf cart. She told me she didn't want the night to end. And I kissed her on the forehead. And then the next thing I remember is waking up in the hospital. I wish more than anything you have me instead of Sam. I wish I died that night, so she didn't have to go alone. She's not coming back. She's gone. She was my world, and I'd give anything just for 1 second to hold her again. I wish every day that I died that night. Do you know what it's like to vow to protect your wife and to do anything for her, and then to lose her hours after that? Something nobody should have to go through. If I had it my way, I'd give you life. It seems only fair since you took Sam's life. Sam was the light to all of us. And she was the wrong person to die that night. This is a quote from Sam's vows. She said, I will love you today, tomorrow, and until I take my last breath on this earth. I am forever yours. That was the hours before you killed her.
Aric will live with survivor's guilt for the rest of his life. He'll continue to be in emotional and physical pain because of his injuries, because of the stress. I'm sure this accident traumatized him. Aric and Ben aren't even done their journey with surgeries. They still have more to go. Do you think after listening to these impact statements from the victims that Jaime feels remorse? Do you think now she's starting to understand the weight of her actions? Well, before we do discuss the sentencing, which you're going to want to stick around for her reaction, we're going to watch Jaime's statement that she made after the victim impact statements. And something to note that irritates me, her attorney, before she read her statement, as in Jamie, he mentioned that she's never had a criminal record. I don't care. Like, yeah, okay, she's never gotten caught driving drunk before, but I'm sure this isn't her first time. That's just a little side note. But let's watch Jamie's statement now.
My name is Jamie Komoroski, and on the night of April 28, 2023, I chose to drink and drive, which resulted in the death of Samantha Miller and the serious injuries of Aric, Hutchinson, and injuries to family members Defendant and Brogan. This is the worst decision I have ever made in my life, and it has affected the lives of so many. First and foremost, I want to address all the victims of the accident I caused and say how truly and deeply sorry I am. Due to my poor decisions, a beautiful life was taken. A wife, sister, daughter, and friend of many is no longer with us. And for that, while I know an apology will fix nothing, all I can say is how incredibly remorseful I am. I have never been in trouble before, but one isolated decision of mine devastated so many lives. Unfortunately, it took this incredible tragedy and terrible incident to wake me up to the extent of my addiction. Every single decision we make has consequences, and knowing you have taken a beautiful life from this world is something I will live with every moment of every day going forward. A life that should have lived on to fulfill all of her dreams and ambitions, who would have helped so many people in her life, all because of my own inconsiderate and thoughtless actions. I want the last thing that I say to be that from the very bottom of my heart, with every fiber in my being, how sorry I am, and that I take full responsibility for my actions. Hopefully one day you will be able to forgive me, but I know forgiveness must be earned. Regardless of whether that day ever comes, please know that I will always be devastated, deeply ashamed, and terribly sorry for what I have done.
That's the most accountability and remorse we've seen from Jamie, but I question the authenticity of her statement. Did she write it? Was it a script from her attorneys? Is it all an act for the judge because she thinks that she'll get sympathy? After those jailhouse calls, I'm not sure if she's ever capable of taking responsibility for her actions. Like, are those tears for killing Samantha, hurting Aric, Ben, and Brogan? Or are they tears for herself? We're now going to watch the judge sentence Jamie.
I've listened very intently to everything that has been presented to the court, and I have taken into consideration the mitigation that has been presented. And based on what has been presented to the court, I find the following appropriate in the nature of sentencing. On the offense of reckless driving, reckless homicide, which is 2023 GS 103895, you're sentenced to the State Department of Corrections for a period of 10 years and $5,000, provided upon the service of 10 years. On both counts of felony DUI, great bodily injury, you're sentenced to the State Department of Corrections for a period of 15 years and $5,100, provided upon the service of 15 years. And on the offense of felony DUI with death, you're sentenced to the State Department of Corrections for a period of 25 years and $10,100, provided upon the service of 25 years. These sentences are concurrent with one another. You'll get.
I don't think Jamie expected 25 years. I think she thought 10, maybe 15. That's probably what her attorneys told her. When the judge mentioned 10, 15, she didn't bat an eye. But as soon as she said 25 years, that's when her head turned. I'm curious what you think about this case and about this sentencing. Do you think 25 years is enough jail time? Jamie's projected release date is April 24th, 2045. Now, Aric did file a wrongful death lawsuit on behalf of Samantha's estate against the bars that overserved Jamie, as well as the rental car company that rented Jamie the car. He was awarded $1.3 million in a partial settlement. Now, that's before attorney fees and everything like that. And now I debated on whether I wanted to bring up the legal battle between Aric and Samantha's mother, and I decided to just include a quick little rundown of the situation. So Lisa, Samantha's mother, was questioning the validity of Aric and Samantha's marriage. After Aric assumed control of Samantha's estate when she passed away, Lisa ended up filing a petition to remove him. She cites potential fraud because she doesn't think their marriage is valid. It's reported that Samantha's mother stated Samantha would want her mother to have some of the inheritance. Now, Aric's lawyers did release a statement, and that I'm going to read now. Aric has been more than generous with Lisa Miller, offering her half of the money, and she has repaid him by threatening to bring a frivolous challenge to the validity of his marriage to Sam. Aric offered Lisa half of any money that is recovered through the wrongful death lawsuit, and that's the one that we just spoke about. And in exchange, she would stop questioning if Sam and Aric's marriage was valid. I'm curious what your opinions are on this legal matter between Aric and Sam's mom, as well as just the whole case in general. Let me know what your take is down below. If you also have any recommendations on stories or cases for me to cover in the future, please leave a comment down below. But that's all I have for you today. Remember, like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you have a great day.